Hello everyone, welcome to today's vlog. My name is Adam, and this is a Goonies special. Okay, apologies for the way everything is. You know, we're all under quarantine, and I hope to God that this video gets to the right people. Okay, so I want to lay out, right, I've just watched this awesome video on YouTube, Josh Gad, who basically reunited the Goonies, right, and it was amazing to see the entire cast, you know, apart from sadly those that have passed on, together again, you know, and then also bringing in the director, and then bringing in, you know, the producer, Steven Spielberg, and it's like, it was such an amazing video. Okay, you're a Luxy, mate. So it really got my brain on fire about, like, you know, because Steven Spielberg was last in that video. You know, is there any chance, guys, we're ever going to see a sequel to the Goonies? And Steven surprisingly said, like, well, you know, every couple of years we get together when we have a talk about this and we try and work a story, you know, and just when we think we've got one, it's like it doesn't work out. We don't really feel the story holds, and it's like, you know, to me, it sounds like it's totally on the cards that they would be up for doing. I mean, the cast were up for the sequel, definitely, right? I'm going to go through, by the way, my version of what that sequel is going to be in a moment. But to hear from Steven Spielberg like that, to say that, you know, it's definitely not a no. It's not like a, well, you know, we feel like that was magic in a bottle. We don't want to replicate it or try and change it or whatever, and we're not going to ever touch it. You know, like Robert Zemeckis has always said that about Back to the Future. There's never going to be a fourth one. This was not a definitive no. This was like, well, if the story's right, guys, then we're definitely up for it. And I honestly, looking at them all now, as they are now, Data and the girl that played Andy, honestly, they looked exactly the same. I mean, looking at them all on screen, I can definitely see it's totally plausible that they could reunite for a sequel, you know, and yeah, get Cyndi Lauper, who was in that video as well. Get her involved with another song, you know, or remake that sort of classic. And do you know what? It really fired my brain. And within minutes of watching that video, I came up with, I think, what would be a great sequel for the Goonies, but not also as in like, oh, it definitely wouldn't be the type of sequel where it's like, oh God, this is like, it doesn't really do the first one justice, or do you know what I mean? It's like, it wouldn't be looked at like, you know, oh, it's like it's cashing in on the fame of the first one or anything like that, right? This one would literally be like almost like a tribute to, you know. But unfortunately, I don't think Richard Donner, who was the original director, would be able to direct it. I mean, the dude's 90 when that was filmed. And, you know, when if this was ever to be put in production, we're talking like maybe 3 years in the future, if it ever happened. So it's like, definitely he's past his directing duties. But the perfect director would be J.J. Abrams, right? He would be the perfect one, because he directed that film, what was it, Super 8. And to me, that was kind of like a Goonies, almost like reboot, you know, remake. It really did feel like a Goonies film. But he would be the perfect director, you know. He's basically Steven Spielberg Jr., I feel, you know. And anyway, so here is my version of what the sequel for the Goonies would be. So present day, Fratellis are locked up in prison, and the Goonies still live in the state of Oregon. Obviously, you know, they've got their own families. They've sort of grown up. They're old, you know, middle-aged people now. They don't sort of hang out as much as they used to, okay? And obviously the two brothers are in contact with each other, but there's still that kind of rivalry, you know? When they do meet up, it's always in that, you know, the older brother is still picking on the younger brother and all this, right? But they've got their own families. Now, the Fratellis are getting out of prison, okay? They're actually being, released, you know, because there's only kidnapping charges, I think, in the first film. So it wouldn't have been like a lifetime imprisonment thing. So they're actually getting released out of prison. And it's kind of like Home Alone 2, when the two robbers, you know, come out and they find themselves confronted with Kevin, right? Well, they come out and it's like, they didn't realize that their mom had passed on and their brother is now dead as well, right? They were in prison, they had no idea, and they come out and they find out this news and they're fuming. They're like, and they're really upset, you know, and they swear they're going to get them kids, and we're going to get them rotten kids. And then they're still bickering like children as well amongst each other. You know, they've been like sharing a cell or something, you know. And so we go back to sort of like the Goonies, and we sort of see each of them in their families, you know. And they're really like, they've all got kids, and their kids really kind of do look like them as kids as well, right? So, but suddenly there's a phone call. There's a phone call to one of these Goonies saying, and I haven't like sort of decided which Goonie it is, but there's a phone call by the spouse of the other Goonie by saying, you know, haven't been able to see like my husband or wife or whatever, hasn't been back for like, you know, 24 hours, and I'm really worried now. It's supposed to have happened, but just gone missing basically. And I've got the police involved. They've said wait 48 hours. I've got another 24 hours to wait before I can make this an official go search them, and I don't know what to do. I'm frantic. You know, I'm kind of thinking that it's going to be a character like Data maybe, who's gone missing suddenly. And it's like, or maybe Mouth, you know. And this person is frantic, you know, speaking to one of the other Goonies, and they're like, well, yeah, well, certainly, you know, I'll ask around, I'll see if anybody's seen them. And, you know, so that one person then starts ringing up all the other Goonies, right? And they all decide, and I think this is going to be set in the summertime, you know, when schools are broken up and that. And they all decide to meet up one weekend at one of the, like, at Mikey's house or something, you know. And so they're all together except for this one person, you know, the less airtime. So, yeah, maybe Mouth is the one that's gone missing. That probably would be more appropriate. Yeah, he's like gone rogue. Anyway, so they meet up. They start hashing out, well, you know, I haven't seen XYZ, and they're basically, it's like that scene when they're early on in the film, and the cleaning lady's getting shown around, and it's like, it's that kind of fun dynamic between the group sort of coming together for the first time in a long time, because they've now grown up, they've had their families and that, and so it's that great conversational section of the film where the leads are and they're talking and that, and it's really fun. And anyway, they find, you know, amongst they all then go to this person's house, right? And they find that this person has been obsessing with the pirate ship or the treasure of you know, and they think that this person has gone looking for it, right? But like, why gone missing? Don't know. Why the wife or the husband or whatever doesn't know about it? Don't know yet, right? Mystery. But it's like, we've got to find them. It's the search for the lost Goonie, basically. Okay, so they go on, and obviously the Fratellis are descending upon their little town, and basically they're after the Goonies. They find out by going, you know, looking around, that the Goonies are all together, and they're like, right, this is it. This is our chance. We're gonna get them. You know what I mean? So the Goonies are going off on their sort of adventure to find the missing Goonie. The Fratellis are chasing after them. Honestly, there's so many segments and scenes that can be just inserted, you know, of funny conflict, and, you know, that type of humor and this type of scenes, like the two girls walking in that field and the rake comes up, and there's so many moments that could be just boiled along that route, just for pure comedy, adventure. There's so many opportunities, you know what I mean? It could go anywhere. And the Fratellis chasing after them is an element of danger. You know, I mean, you've got to have Chunk and the Fratellis, you know, doing a get-together or something, do you know what I mean? And it's definitely, you know, honestly, for me, watching that video, it's totally plausible, okay? And anyway, the end result would be that, I mean, They hear the news that the Fratellis have been released from prison, and they think that the Fratellis have kidnapped this person. So now the Goonies, right, sort of 3/4 of the way through the film, right, are like, they're under the assumption that the Fratellis have got that person and that they're now after them, okay? Even though they are after them, the Fratellis haven't really kidnapped. Nothing to do with that Goonie going missing. That Goonie was kind of investigating events of the first film. Like, where did that pirate ship go and all this? And so, anyway, at the end of the film, the resolution is that, yes, They find the missing Goonie. The Fratellis confront. There's this big, you know, in a location befitting the first film, like the cave with the pirate ship. There's this big confrontation, really funny, sort of swashbuckling times from the films of yesteryear, and it obviously ends with the Fratellis like getting arrested again, or you know, meeting their maker, basically. And then the Goonies are finally together for the last like 40 minutes, last 30 minutes of the film, as a group. And that was the real treasure, was seeing them all together. That's the real sort of treasure that we as the audience get. Instead of like finding the treasure ship, it's the treasure of seeing these Goonies all together again, and we get to see them play out the rest of the movie as a group together. And honestly, I think it could literally just be such a fun film, especially after the times like this of separation and, you know, quarantine, of, you know, a group coming together, right? The sort of underlining moment of this story is the group coming together, okay? Having their time, that's right, yeah? Having their time, their moments, and make it, honestly, just putting a smile on everyone's face, you know? Everybody, I think, would understand, like, the bigger picture, everybody would understand that this film is not trying to just be a cash-in, you know what I mean? But to just basically put a smile on the world, you know? And make everybody happy. There's so many fans of the Goonies. The Goonies is such a high bar to set that really any story would kind of fall apart. But what if the story of the sequel of the Goonies was bringing the Goonies together? You know, that would be, for me, a better sequel than, you know, another treasure mapped out adventure. You know, it's like, that would literally just be the first film. You know what I mean? Your vlogs, it would any type of, it would just be Goonies, you know, 1.5, wouldn't it? So you couldn't really do that. You couldn't really have like them having to chase down yet another adventure. It'd just be like Indiana Jones, and here we go again. Do you know what I mean? And I think that would be tired. That would be a tired picture to watch. But the Goonies themselves coming together, that's the adventure. That's the story, really. And JJ, I think, can knock it out of the park. Steven Spielberg producing, Richard Donner co-doing something, either with the writing with Christopher Columbus, or, you know, I don't know, having a hand in it somehow, creatively. Boom. Goonies 2, you know? And definitely, please, like that, take this, guys, have this little skeleton of a story and flesh it out and take it and run with it, all right? Because I'd love to see that picture, you know? Definitely, you know, that. But by the way, go check it out, man, on Josh Gad's YouTube channel if you haven't seen it already. It's 26 minutes of pure heaven, honestly. It's amazing. And you even get, like, Olaf in there as well. So, well, it's a win-win, isn't it? It's a win-win for everybody, all right? Thank you so much for watching. That's the end of today's video. And hopefully, fingers crossed, Steven Spielberg gets to watch this and then goes, yeah, maybe. Let's try that story. Let's try that avenue. And gets the writers on it. And we get to see it in a couple of years' time. All right? Because I tell you, the Goonies are totally up for it. They definitely want to do it. And Steven Spielberg wants to do it. You know what I mean? All right? Take care, guys. Have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.